You have to understand that at a super high level. And once you get this down, you're going to feel like you can win on almost every trade. And it's not going to feel like luck to you. Some of you out there and you're doing trades and maybe you're winning and you just feel like maybe it's beginner's luck, or you really understand your weaknesses and you haven't had to deal with them. So you believe your success has been luck. We'll teach you here at the Dorian Trader how to control your destiny and how these trades will not feel like luck to you or feel like you're using the skill set that you have to be able to take monies from these markets. And it's nothing more empowering than that, to be able to have a laptop, for example, and be able to be anywhere in the world with an internet connection and take monies from these markets. In the video, we're going to discuss the 1DT strategy. The 1DT strategy that we do here at the Dorian Trader. 1DT just means that it expires in 1 day. So you put it on today and it expires tomorrow. In options terminology, 1DT is just a 1 day trade. You can argue that it's technically a 2 day trade, but it's indicating that it's expiring in 1 day. And so here at the Dorian Trader, we've been doing a 1DT trade for at least the last 3 years. We have been perfecting it over the last 3 years. We have did a trade almost every day for the last 3 years, and we have created a course on it based on all the different information we have been able to gather over that time frame. Real live trades. Yes, we have back tested as best we can the strategy as well, but because we have an adjusting process, it makes it a little bit more complicated to backtest with any type of backtesting program that we've been able to discover out there. But this trade has worked, and it's worked tremendously for myself and a bunch of our members. For example, I have won 57 times out of the last 58 trades as of this video. 57 times out of the last 58 trades. It's just been phenomenal productivity out of this trade. It's been just as good as a day trade that we teach as well here at the Dorian Trader, which is called a 0 DTE option strategy in the options world. Right? It's not a traditional day trade, which you basically have a 50-50 shot. When you do our statistical day trade, you have a probabilistic edge, just like you do with our 1DT trade, and that's what we primarily discussing in this video. So I want you to understand that it's 4 main points to the trade that we teach, to this 1DT trade that we teach here at the Dorian Trader. You have to understand how to put on the trade. That's step 1. You have to be able to understand how to read the trade, what's going on with the trade in your portfolio while the trade is on. That is step 2. Step 3 is you have to understand how to adjust the trade, how to do defensive adjustments, how to do proactive adjustments, how to make the right decisions in regards to adjusting. And then step 4, you have to know how to take off the trade. A lot of people don't understand with short-term trades using options, it's nuances to taking off trades. It's not just straightforward of, pushing a button and then you getting filled. It's not that easy with short-term trades, especially with 1DTE and 0DTE trades. And the way we teach our 1DT trade, it's basically a 0DT trade. Right? It's basically a 0DT trade. You can make just as much money with our 1DT trade as you can with the 0DT trade. You literally can do it every single day. We don't, but you can literally do it every single day. So we want to break down these steps in this video so you can kind of get a understanding on how we have won so often with this trade and how it can benefit you if you are interested in doing short-term trades. But we want to give a disclaimer. We tell all of our members at the Dorian Trader, do not do this trade if you haven't went over the course. If you haven't went over the course not just once, but several times to the point where you can teach the strategy. Short-term trades have a lot of risks involved, a lot of gamma risks, a lot of directional risks. You can lose a lot of your monies if you do not understand how to do the trade correctly. So if you decide to join the Dorian Trader, you're going to see us do this trade almost every day, and it's going to feel like we're winning almost every day. Like I said, I've won 57 times out of the last 58 trades. So it's going to feel like you're winning all the time, but it's not an easy trade. It's not an easy trade. It's become easier for us because of the way we strategically trade the strategy. But make no mistake, this is not a beginner's trade. You have to go over the course and go over it and go over it until you can darn near teach it. And then you can be ready for this trade, and then you start off with one contract. And then you build upon that as you grow in your knowledge and your confidence in the trade. We tell people that if you're going to start off with short-term trades, you should start with our 7DT strategy because it's an easier short-term trade. We call it print money 7DT strategy, or the print money 7DT strategy. But with this 1DTE trade, you can make so much more monies. And all of us are into short-term gratification and definitely making a lot of money short-term. So in this video, we're going to talk about the 4 different steps that you have to master to be able to execute this trade at a high level. So if we jump over to this platform and we go to step 1. So step 1 at the Dorian Trader for us doing this 1DT trade is looking at what's going on economically for the next day. And once we determine that it's nothing coming out the next day, then we will execute, then we're okay to execute this trade. So after determining if it's any economic data coming out the next day that we're worried about, then we look at the VIX rule of 16. The VIX rule of 16 means that you divide the VIX number, the VIX cash number, by 16. That's going to give you the 1 day percentage move, what is expected to be the 1 day percentage move, the 2 times 1 day expected move. So if we take this 1398, that's what it basically is at this point, and we divide it by 16, we get 0.87%. So less than 1%. That is the expected move, 2 times the expected move there. Okay, so 2 standard deviation move basically. So we take that number and then we do the straddle price. We take the straddle price, and right now the straddle price is 29. We usually just round it up and say it's 30. So we take the straddle price and we times it by 2, and that's going to equal 60. And that's basically 2 times the expected move that you'll see on a platform here on the TastyTrade platform that we're demonstrating here. We usually take the straddle price because the straddle price is uniform. So whatever platform you're on, you're going to be able to use that straddle price and we'll all have the same number. We take that number and then we add it to the last price, right? So right now the last price is 60. So we'll add $60 to that price for the call side to be able to set up what we call an iron condor. So you take the 60, you plus 60, and it's going to take you to about 120. So that is a 5 delta, and what we do is a 20-point wide spread for 1DT trades here at the Dorian Trader. And then what we would do is take that $60 and put it on the put side, which is basically the 6,000 strike here, and we do a 20-point wide spread. So if you're going to do one contract, you're going to allocate 5K to that one contract for adjusting purposes. And you'll learn that when you go over the course, the 1DT course that we call your personal life changer at the Dorian Trader. Now, we allocate 5K to every one contract we start with. So in this example, if we're starting with one contract, we're going to allocate 5K. If we started with two contracts, we're going to allocate 10K. If we started with three contracts, we're going to allocate 15K. And if we started with four contracts, for example purpose, we're going to start with 20K. We're going to allocate 20K to the side. As you can see, when you first do this trade, you're going to be using 2,000. If you're just going to use one contract, you're going to be using 2,000 of the 5K that you got allocated to the trade. You're going to learn why you have to do this for adjusting purposes. Okay, but if nothing goes wrong with the trade, you're only going to be allocating 2K in this example here for starting with one contract. So if you started with two contracts, you'll only be using 4K of the 10K that you have allocated. So hopefully that's clear and understandable. Now, once you have set up the trade and you get filled, you want to get filled for at least $100 after fees and commissions. We would go no less than $85, but that's rare. That's when the market has just been so complacent and we're trying to be as safe as possible. But primarily we're trying to get at least $100 after fees and commissions, and then we're trying to make 50 to 70% of that $100 on every trade we get, or at least 1% if we can every time we do the trade. And so once we put the trade on and we got filled at the price that we want, we put in a good to cancel, make sure we can get out of the trade if we hit our profit target without any adjusting. We also put in alerts, make sure that we understand the risk in the trade by putting on our alerts. But we do not count on alerts. We make sure we're watching this trade because the way we set up this trade is very similar to a 0DT trade. Okay, you have to have the ability to watch this trade. You have to have the ability to be in control of the trade and not just walk away and sit and forget. This is how we set this trade up. And then we go into reading the trade. You have to understand what's going on with the trade and the way we structure this trade. It's a very time sensitive type of trade. So you have to understand what's going on with the trade. So if you have to adjust, and then we go to the adjusting part. If you have to adjust, we have a cadence to this adjusting. How do you adjust? Do you roll out? And if you roll out, how do you roll that trade out? Do you add more contracts? Things like that you have to understand, that's going to give you significant odds on winning, so you can be able to win 57 out of the last 58 or even something greater than that. Okay, because I could have won 58 out of the last 58, but I decided not to be arrogant and just take a small loss on the trade. That's important to understand. So then once you have mastered the adjusting, you have to understand how to take the trade off. Right? You have to understand at a super high level how to take the trade off, because when you're dealing with 0DT trades with options, that's what is going to happen with this trade. Once you put it on the way we teach it, it's going to become a 0DT trade. Some of the legs on an option iron condor can be zero bids, meaning that it's no monies on that bid. That can cause a problem of getting out of that trade. And so you have to be able to understand that at a super high level, or you're going to be stuck in trades or know how to get out of trades when it's time. You're going to not know how to adjust the trade correctly because you're not going to be able to get out of a trade. So we teach you that here at the Dorian Trader. You have to understand that at a super high level. And once you get this down, you're going to feel like you can win on almost every trade. And it's not going to feel like luck to you. Some of you out there and you're doing trades and maybe you're winning and you just feel like maybe it's beginner's luck, or you really understand your weaknesses and you haven't had to deal with them. So you believe your success has been luck. We'll teach you here at the Dorian Trader how to control your destiny and how these trades will not feel like luck to you or feel like you're using the skill set that you have to be able to take monies from these markets. And it's nothing more empowering than that, to be able to have a laptop, for example, and be able to be anywhere in the world with an internet connection and take monies from these markets. We can teach you that here at the Dorian Trader. If you want to learn how to be a full-time trader, we can teach you that. If you want to learn how trading can be your primary source of income, we can teach you that. Just give us the opportunity. If you're interested, we have a coupon code in the description area, and you can use that coupon code to be able to try us out for the next 3 months. We hope to get to know you in the near future so you can learn this trade at a super high level and be able to make money consistently day after day after day. But for now, we'll see you in the next video.